You're the proud owner of this, but it comes like this. But shouldn't it be organized like this? It can, and that's coming up right now. Welcome to Board at Home 123. I'm Andy Browning, sitting outside on a beautiful, sunny, blue sky day, and I wouldn't be anywhere else other than here with you talking about some tools. In particular, today we're going to be talking about the Massca pocket hole jig. It is, in my opinion, one of the finest pocket hole jigs on the market. I love using it. But that said, it does have a couple of small issues that I wanted to see improved. And I think we've come up with something that you're going to love. Let's go check it out together, all right? Let's go. Welcome to the shop. This is the Massca pocket hole jig, and I love it. When you receive it, you'll have an Allen wrench to make adjustments on the tool itself. You'll have another shorter Allen wrench that you can use to set the collar depth on your drill bit. You have a driver bit, and you have your drill bit. You also have this very unique and extremely effective method of setting the drill depth. You also receive these little sliders on these bars. I love this system. It's simple and it's brilliant. You can slide them wherever you want, tighten them down. You can use it as a support, or you can also use it as a stop. Adjustment is a piece of cake. Everything about using this is easy. However, the thing that I don't really care for is the fact that when you go to tighten these little knurled brass nuts, your fingers kind of tend to bump into your tabletop. It's not a big deal, but it's just an annoyance. You also have no onboard storage for your tools. And that, to me, is the biggest issue with this particular jig. It needed some way to make it not just a unit, but a system. So that's what we've done. We've created the Massca pocket hole jig mounting system, and it looks like this. The patent pending Massca pocket hole jig mounting system. This is a great way to take this amazing jig and turn it into a system so that you're not dealing with loose parts and some kind of difficult things to adjust. So to start with, the slides, they work exactly like you would expect, but we've added a recess so that you can get in underneath and make those adjustments a little bit easier. You have all of your tools on board, and what makes that even better, they're magnetic for all of the tools. So you're not going to lose your tools, and if you want to, you can hang this on your wall for storage. It's a great way to get everything out of the way and not lose any of your tools. Now, one area that is always an area of concern for people with this particular jig is the adjustment wheel. This is a fantastic way of adjusting your drill bit. I love using this, but what happens if you do lose it? Well, it becomes a bit of an issue. So like right here, I'm gonna adjust this really quick to 3/4 of an inch. And just like that, it's adjusted. But if I lose this, we did think of that. So what we've done on the front of this board is we've made holes that correspond with the various settings on the wheel. So you have your 1/2, 3/4, 7/8, 1 inch, 1 1/4, and 1 1/2 inch settings. And to make that adjustment, let's just adjust it to 1 1/2 for fun. You just loosen the collar and push the tail end of your bit in and tighten it. And that will correspond precisely with the 1 1/2 inch setting on the jig. Drop that down in there, and it's exactly the same thing. That way you don't have to worry about what happens if you do lose this. Now, the other thing that I don't really care for is a jig that tends to slide around. And they do provide holes that you can screw this down to a workbench. So we've used those same screws, but we've made a whole plethora of ways that you could mount it to your workbench. You may want to permanently fasten using these corner holes, or like me, I tend to, and this is no way a plug for Festool, but I happen to use a Festool table. They use 20mm bench dog holes on 96mm centers. So it is set up for that because that happens to be the European standard for cabinetry. You can also just grab a clamp, a regular old clamp, and clamp it up against the edge of your workbench. Most of the time I'll just use those front lips for that, or if I want to use something on my bench here, I can always just bring something down here and cinch it up like that, both sides. Another method that they have supplied on board with the system guide, this is probably my favorite way to mount it, is simply to take a stop of some sort. It could be those bolts, or I happen to have these festool pieces. Massca has a fantastic T-slot clamp that you can get as well. And there's already a T-slot built into the jig. So you simply put that in there, come down, you cinch up your clamp, and it's done. So it's really tight, everything's down and out of the way. So there's nothing to get in your way while you're working. And that to me is the preferred method. If you don't have a clamp like that, or don't prefer to use that method, you can also use more of a flat clamp like this and just cinch it up. One or two, doesn't matter. It allows you to use this tool the way you want to use it. And it allows you to keep everything in one place. And that to me is really what it's all about, is making sure that your tools have proper storage. You can hang them on your wall, store them in a safe place, and you don't have to worry about losing all the parts and pieces to it. Last but certainly not least, one of my favorite things to do with the Massca jig is to use it as an edge vise. So I'll use this with my drill press. I can come in here, I can mark the centers of my board, and if I want to drill some holes along the edge, it's a really convenient way to mount it on my drill press with a sturdy base that's going to keep it right where it needs to be. And it just doubles the effect of what you can actually use this tool for. It's a very functional tool. So that is the Massca pocket hole jig mounting system. You're gonna love it. It takes an already fantastic tool and makes it that much better. If you want to get one for yourself, head on over to masscaproducts.com. We look forward to catching you on the next one. And remember, don't be bored at home. There's a million things to do, and they're as easy as 1, 2, 3. We'll catch you next time.
Now I know that you weren't planning on leaving before you hit the like and subscribe button. It's just right down there. A little, and you're in.